Do you need encouragement to turn tragedies into your own triumphant life story? If so, this podcast is for you. Listen to powerful guests who have persevered through challenges so you can gain strength to build your championship life. The host of Professor of Perseverance podcast, Dr. James Purdue.
Hey, thank you for coming on in and listening to the Professor of Perseverance. I am the Professor of Perseverance, Dr. James Purdue. Thank you for coming in again. Get some motivation, get some inspiration, learn something that's going to help you get through another day during a difficult time. And not only, you're going to use some of this information to help push it forward, pull it forward, pass it on, and to help the next person by you. Hey, today our topic, we're going to talk about mental health issues, okay, and how we can better prepare and better get strategies to help us get through things and help build a better mental health, better health. I mean, there's a lot of this stuff going on today. It's sad, especially, and I'm not picking on police or anything, but a lot of things going on where mental issues taking place with these people. I don't, and things need to be doing a little different than what it is. And so today we got on the show Brandon. There he is, Brandon Burbank. And
Hello.
welcome to the show, man, to help us
Thank
become
you.
better with our health, mental health issues.
Yes, I'm so excited for this wonderful opportunity to be on your podcast, and it's definitely an opportunity to, inspire people, motivate people who have had different mental health struggles and that are needing to find direction in their life.
And I would imagine the majority, and I would go on a limb and say probably all of us have had some type of issue at least once in our life. Most of us have it multiple times in our life, okay,
Yeah.
where we have a breakdown because loved ones passed away, died, especially
Oh, yeah.
unexpectedly. Just depression in its own self coming and
Yes.
going. And so, I mean, I'm openly going to tell you, I've told before, I wanted out of this world so bad about 12, 14 years ago. I attempted suicide 3 times in 3 days. And
Wow.
so the last time they found me sucking carbon monoxide in my van in my garage and got me to the hospital and was put in the hyperbaric chamber to force oxygen into my body, the
Oh
carbon
my
monoxide
gosh.
out, and in 7 weeks in the hospital. And
Wow.
fortunately, God, guess, still has a plan because he didn't take me.
You're still
And
here.
yeah, he didn't take me. So obviously there's still a plan for me. And I think
Yes.
part of my purpose, I think part of the purpose now is um, the reason I started this podcast is to help people like you and others get your message out. It's not for me to
Yes.
do the talking, not for me to get my story. People's heard my stories; they're tired of hearing me, but we want to hear yours and get your message out like every other people. And I think
Yeah.
that's part of the purpose is to help get other people's messages out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so James, I just definitely want to give you guys definitely. I'm happy to be a part of this podcast because my journey with mental health has definitely been a lot of trials and tribulations, and how I've learned how to gain some momentum and success, and building off of the trials and tribulations that have impacted my mental health journey is something that I think is noteworthy to be able to discuss with people on stage and off the stage, and have different conversations to restructure the approach about how we talk about mental health.
And one thing we need to definitely need to change people's imagination or uh, how to think is not to think of having a mental health issue as a real bad thing. I
Yeah,
mean,
like
I
it's
mean,
part of
I mean, because
life.
when I grew up, if you hear someone talk to a psychiatrist, you're thinking, "Oh man, that dude's crazy," you
Yeah,
know.
like there's so much stigma, and that's what needs to be like erased from this world, and from our communities, so that we can become more free and open towards different perspectives of different people who are going through different struggles, and how they approach that is unique to their own life.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, when I went through my issue, of course, I had to see a psychologist for a year, and then at the beginning, I'm going, "Oh man, people will find out and think I'm just gone crazy," because that's the way I grew
Uh,
up. Uh, but then being with him for the year and talking made me change my mind so much that here's what I tell other people: where we should exercise and nutrients our body and exercise keep it strong. There's no difference with our mind. We need to find someone we can talk to and trust that they're not going to spread
yes,
rumors, not going to say anything bad, stab us in the back, but find someone we can open up to instead of us bottling everything in until the
yes,
corkscrew pops out.
that's so
And
true.
yeah, and so then I started thinking, as we build our body strength wise and physically wise, build the nutrients in it, we should also do the same thing with our mind as well.
Yeah, that's so true. And so, I mean, I see a therapist regularly as well, and so that's something that I know that I'm open to share with my follower base about, because what it does is it helps me continue to progress my goals, and it helps me stay focused on my life and dreams. And so, if I'm going to be able to be on stage talking to thousands of people in the future, or wherever I'm going to be at in the future, I need to be able to make sure that my mental health is stable and that I'm able to, convey my message and be in communication with myself and with my soul, with my heart, and being able to speak from my heart and being able to convey the message to in the right correct way.
Yeah, I'm glad you talked about mentioned here about be able to do this, you know, convey your message through your heart and everything, for people to see your passion and see that you're authentic. Because
Yes.
you get up there, people can read through the fake. You
Oh yeah.
know, people can, you can get up there and say, I've seen 85 different therapists and there's what they've taught, but maybe they haven't seen not one person, but they're trying to reach out to people the wrong way.
Yes.
And people read through that.
And that's a great point that you made up, James. Basically, I speak about that in my book as well, talking about how seeing a therapist is like a pair of shoes. It might not be the right fit for you and for this specific therapist, but if you keep trying, eventually you'll find the right pair of shoes, the right therapist that can help really elevate your life to the next level and give you that clarity and that transparency that is needed for success.
That's a good analogy there. Finding the right pair of shoes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good because now an umpire one time when I was coaching, we were talking, and coaches and umpires don't agree with every call out there.
Oh
And the
yeah.
same thing he said to me was, if we both agreed on everything, one of us is lying. If we both agreed on everything, and so same
Yeah.
thing here. If you go to see a therapist, whatnot, and you're agreeing with them and agreeing with them and agreeing with them, and really you're not. One of y'all is lying, not doing the right thing. And so you need to
Yeah.
find someone that again is more aligned with you and to help you get through.
The word
Not to
that
say
comes to
not to
mind.
say that the bad ones are not bad. The ones that not your fit can't help in somewhat, but again, you can still learn something from them. But the quicker you find the right one for you, quicker
Yeah,
you'll
and
move
I
on.
think what also comes with building off of that as well, with in an alignment with seeing a therapist, the important thing to be mindful of as a from a personal development standpoint. This is something that I've really tried to work on personally, and that is the word comes to mind, which is called discernment. So discernment is essentially like to being able to make good judgment calls in your life and making good wise decisions that are based upon good judgment. And with that being said, like with your mental health and overall your goals in life and managing your mental health, if you have a condition out there that you're struggling with and you need direction, having, making good decisions with a discernment based mindset will allow you. I mean, you can Google the word discernment as well to get the right definition for you. But essentially, it's having wise judgment calls that helps you make good decisions when you're going through a crisis, or when you're just getting out of the hospital or a mental health treatment program and you feel a little bit lost or overwhelmed or unsure of what to do with your life.
Well, and again, not all of this is seeking a therapist, psychologist, or a psychiatrist. Again, it could be a business mentor, some type of coach.
Yes.
It could be your minister, it could be your wife, your husband, a partner,
Yes.
just a real close friend, just someone that's going to open up, listen, not judge, and give you the truth.
Yes, and give you perspective, that right feedback that might be constructive feedback that helps you take your life to the next level in terms of stability and giving you better transparency on how to live your life.
I used to tell people there's a couple of different friends you need to have in your life. You need this one friend that's going to lie to you. It's sad, but they look up to you so much that they want to be with you, and they're going to agree with you and tell you how great you are because they're
Mm,
afraid they're going to lose you. You lose you as a friend,
okay.
okay? But you also need this one friend that's going to kick you in the butt and be honest and tell you when things that you're not doing what's right and how to
Yes.
to straighten up and move forward. So
Yeah, I think that's also a really important thing to be mindful of with like having the right connections in life, because you are who you hang out with in so many different ways. And so when you are, if you're not with hanging out with the right group of people in your life to help us, to help you leverage your growth, to help you leverage your overall goals, you will become like, there's this saying out there. I remember I was at Influence for an NSA last year, and one of the president of a university got on stage and talked about how the most important saying is like, you are the product of your the people who you most associate with in your life. And that's just so powerful to think about, because when you are actually involved with the right people, they can help propel you to the next level for building success. However, the other bottom line is that if you are around the wrong set of people who aren't giving you the right positive mindset and the right feedback for yourself, then you're going to limit your capacity to succeed.
and you're going to stay with that majority of that type of people.
Yes.
And like you said, it's going to limit your success in life
Yeah.
as you go forward too. One quote I don't I've seen it in different types of forms, but I forgot who the original quote was. But it was, "If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room."
Yes, that's so true too, and I think about that a lot because I was living in Southern California in a lot of way, and for the past 2 years since last November, and that was a great transformative experience for me, James, where I was able to really, push myself outside of my comfort zone and being not feeling like I was the smartest person in the room a lot of times because of the diverse crowd that's in Southern California and in the LA Long Beach area. So I just that's part of my story as well. And I'm actually moved back to Bellingham, Washington, where I'm currently going to be going to school and at Western Washington University, and then running my small business as a speaking business.
How long have you been doing speaking now?
I started it 2 years ago in Long Beach.
There you go. And so yeah, I'm all for. I got into speaking as well. You and I met the big old Phil R. Taylor. Hey Phil, if you ever catch it,
Bill
we
Taylor, yes,
yes, he's a good one. So
great guy.
he's one to talk to you and me to meet up here. So Phil, if
Yes,
you ever pop in and listen, we said hey to you, man. So
yeah,
but yeah, there's a lot that we can learn from other people. I mean, if you think that you know it all, again, you're in the wrong room with all different types of wrong purposes. Um,
yeah,
I love now. This is me in the sports world, and I love listening to these older coaches. I just turned 59, but I'm talking older. Them guys are 70, 80, 90 years old, and in sports telling how things used to be in playing sports and telling their stories. Oh, there's so much you can learn from that.
mhm. Yeah, definitely. Sports is something that helps give you more like direction and consistency in your life too, because whether you did it in high school or you're still doing it now competitively or just in terms of for your overall health, sports can definitely help you keep a good therapeutic part for your physical health, because that's just as important as your mental health. In fact, the both coexist together, because physical health and mental health, they work together in order to effectively live your life and be happy.
But you don't have to go in too much into to convince people of that, I would think, Because how many times you hear someone talking about, oh, my back's hurting today, and then their mind's already in that frame that I'm going to be hurting, I'm negative, it's going to be a long day. Yeah, so yeah, when your
Yeah.
body, like I said, coexists with the mind, so the healthier again we can keep our body. Not to say we're not going to have problems, but the we can get over those health issues as well. Just going to strengthen our minds.
I think that you made a great point just now about the fact that when you talk about your mindset and how you have positive thoughts, I think about this on a daily basis because when I'm going through my, life experiences and my journey, transition phase in life and everything and that has occurred in my life, I think about the positives in my life more so than the negatives. And what that does is that helps me elevate my level of success because I'm able to effectively communicate with myself about what my needs are, what my immediate needs are. I might not be able to, make the greatest impact yet because I'm still becoming more of a established speaker, for example. But I'm talking about when we're really focusing and dialing in with the mindset and how your positive thoughts are what carry you forward in faith towards pursuing your success, pursuing your purpose. And I really speak highly on that because I've gone through some, major experiences with mental health troubles that have had a lot of challenges and adversity and affliction that has been involved with that. And how I've been able to bounce back so quickly, but also at an effective level, is because of my ability to, have positive thoughts and have a positive approach towards my goals in life with the right mindset.
How do you set your goals for you?
Good question.
I'm into the you need a bunch of wins, so you set up the little baby steps, so you can
Yes.
see a bunch of wins. Then then you setting up for your long wins after that. Failure is going to come no matter how you set everything up, because again, you don't know everything. And then we take those failures, build on it, learn from it, and go forward.
I actually believe in lessons. I like to use the word
Lessons
lessons in life
instead of
because it's more,
failures.
yes,
Lessons.
exactly.
Well, we would sound more positive.
Yeah.
Lessons than failure. So yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. But I think that because when you have the right mindset, attitude, you can do anything as far as like, the eye can see and what look at look at technology in these days. Like we've been able to create some innovative changes with technology and how we've been able to change the way we how we live our lives through communication, through technology, for example. And so, 100 years ago, we didn't even have all the devices and the program, the internet, things like that. And so by being able to recognize that, everything that we have to be thankful for, we can really boost our level of success by really truly deep down in our hearts and finding it within ourselves to believe in ourselves. Because trust me, James, there's been times when I did not want to like get out of bed, for example, or just like actively be involved with my life and just in a manner that's filled with success and a happy mindset, because there's been times when I felt like, well, why did I have to go through this hospitalization, for example, or a mental health treatment program or a halfway house and all of these transformative experiences that have, had taken a toll on my mental psyche, but it's also inspired me to grow, to become the best version of myself. And it's also inspired me to have the confidence to be able to get on stage and talk with people about from a raw and authentic standpoint about my struggles with mental health, that people can hopefully, my hope is that they can connect to what I have to say.
And I'm sure you already know this, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you this: when you're on your stage and you're giving your story and you're giving everything to them, people don't want to hear what you've accomplished. That's it. I've
They want
seen
to know what,
somebody get up there and they're going, they no, we want to know what was your hardship, because you're going to
yeah.
connect with people then,
Yeah, and
because
I'd love to
they're
share a
going to
little bit about that right now.
yeah, yeah, because they're going to connect with the hardship, because they're going to go, yeah, I was way down there in my life before, and then they want to hear where you went from there. But
Yeah.
these people give all the good, and I'm way up here. I'm positive I've done all this and da 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 and all this. Okay, so what? I need a beginning point. Where were you to get you to there? You know,
Right.
and so yeah, it's just a little. I'm gonna say advice. I mean, you're old enough. Yeah, know well, but yeah, people they want to hear the what got you going to get you where you're at.
Yeah. So I
That
guess
way
for
they can
me,
resonate with you.
back in 2015, I was studying abroad. I just graduated from high school, and I went into a deep depression post study abroad trip. And so what happened was I was not confiding with somebody that I trusted. I wasn't confiding with anybody really. I was just like isolating from the world, isolating from people, because I was just like I went into a deep depression and felt like really unsure about what the future was holding in my life, and how the experiences that I had experienced in studying abroad in Spain and everything, Barcelona, it was a transformative experience. Don't get me wrong, but as far as the transition back to the U.S. and the post study abroad trip, I had post study abroad trip culture shock is the word. And
Hmm.
so it wasn't long after that that I ended up in the hospital, and I went into like a deep depression, and I was trying to go to school and everything, finish from Whatcom Community College in Bellingham, Washington, and then I ended up in the hospital. That this was like around May of 2016, and then it was like after that I was diagnosed with this condition called bipolar disorder,
Hmm.
and so that's very foreign to me because I was like, whoa, I've never experienced something like this before in my life. And there's so much stigma around mental health, obviously, that it was hard to get a grasp on. And I experienced this at a young age of 19. And so by, recognizing that these are the things that I experienced and how I had to start making some changes for myself, which now here's the other thing, James, to be honest with you, it's taken years to the word comes to mind, radical acceptance of the diagnosis. And anybody that's out there listening to this podcast right now knows that feeling, who've gone through struggles with their mental health, because when you don't radically accept your diagnosis and if you're in denial about the condition, it can really take a toll on your life, because you'll just consistently be becoming relapsed in a different relapse and have to focus on another recovery after another recovery. And that's something that I've had to work really challenge with, because another thing that I've had struggles with was, there's a lot of stigma around medications. And so,
Mm.
by being open about that, but it's like, some people take medications for their mental health, some people don't. And but by recognizing that I think it's up to the individual. Like for me, it helps me and it works for me, and I'm being honest and transparent about that, but not for everybody. But other people, it could be of value, and that's where like these are some of the things that I've experienced with my journey and how I've had to really start to embrace change and accepting the realities of life, that even though I have a condition that I have to manage and be mindful of, it doesn't mean that it can't prevent me from becoming an inspiration and changing a lot of lives.
Amen. That's right, brother. Hey, two things from there. Yes, some people do take medication. Some people do. I don't know if they would call it meditation, praying, whatever that may help them. But if you're taking the medication, there's nothing wrong with that if it's going to keep you to help you
Alive,
be, yes, alive, a better mood, better
functioning person.
mindset. Yes, exactly. Don't feel ashamed if you have to take those medications. Okay.
Yes.
Um, if there's something with the medication that's making you not perfectly right, be open and honest with your physician about
Yes.
that so they can adjust the amount to try something different. And in some cases, it may take 30 or 60 days to get into your system before it finally kicks in.
That's so true. Yeah. And so
Now,
that's
but
why
on
being
this,
mindful.
this part here now, I tell uh, before I've done before is um, listeners, my doctor is not in doctor medicine, okay? My doctor is in education. So consult your physicians. Don't listen to Brandon and me on anything on the medication other than he's taking some. I agree that people have to. Some people do, but not everybody. That's
Mhm.
between you and your physician to come up with the right thing. So,
Yeah.
um, and so, like I had this, I got this friend. We've grown up together, known each other 50 years, and he's a paranoid schizophrenic. Um, while he's on his medication, he's the nicest guy you can be around. But then, because he's normal by taking those, he didn't think he ought to be taking his pills, and so then he'll quit taking them, and then when everything's out of his system, then he's gone. Don't want to say crazy, but he's loopy,
I
and
see.
so he has to get back on the medication and get everything stabilized again. But yeah, he'll take it, and he's going, I don't know why I'm taking this. The reason you're feeling normal is because of taking this
Mm.
medicine. But yeah, he'll throw it away. I don't need this. I'm doing all right. Then it
Mhm.
backfires every
Yeah.
time. So from there. Then the second thing I want to say, you mentioned Barcelona, and I know it's a country of its own, a good country of its own. But the biggest thing I can say about that, hey Bart Dotson, hey buddy, if you ever listen on here, we're talking about you at this time. Bart, he's a quadriplegic like me, C56
Okay.
quadriplegic. He went to Barcelona and competed in, I think it had been 1998, I think. He participated in Barcelona in the Paralympics, and Big Bart
Wow.
won 8 gold medals, and all the gold medals were world records over there in Barcelona. So good
Wow.
job, Bart. Way to hang in there, buddy. So yeah, when you mentioned that, I just had it just brought that big thought of Bart to me. So
Yeah, and then but here's the thing though. Flash forward with the journey in itself and talking about radical acceptance and on that topic now, I really wanted to preface another experience that occurred because I've had multiple hospitalizations since I was 19. I'm 26 now, and I've had time to really learn and reflect on my story and how powerful it is and how transformative it can be to other people. Now, to go more into depth about my story as well, like for example, at the age of 20, I went into another struggle with mental health and in denial about the condition of bipolar disorder. And this is also drawn, folks, behind the fact that my lack of my well, our culture, it really stigmatizes mental health, so it didn't help me feel like I was wanting to like be involved with this mental health stuff and how to approach my condition and managing the condition. And so what I'm trying to say is, after going through another hospitalization at the age of 20, I was put into a halfway house, which was a uh, very trying and trials and tribulations related experience, because you're around people who are literally like severely mentally ill. And I'm just like a 20 year old that's like trying to live life and trying to figure things out in his young early 20s. So my point is, then it was not after that, after about a month or so, I went to a Skyline Trail, which is a mental health treatment program in Atlanta, Georgia, that helped change more of my outlook on life as as somebody that has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and how I can be of an inspiration for other people who have gone through different trials and tribulations with their mental health, and how they can focus on the recoveries. So I'm bringing this all up because it comes around full circle with people who have gone through different struggles with their mental health. How it's not uncommon to see different relapses and different recoveries that are very prevalent in this world. And so if we approach it in a way that's like manageable in terms of by being consistent with our lives, being consistent with what is working in our mental health needs and what's not working with our mental health needs, that's going to help us really prevent a lot of people from having to take time off of work, or going into like the hospitalizations process again. Because let me tell you right now, James, you've been there with the mental health with suicide ideation, and so my point is that the hospitalizations are a very transformative experience because it puts in a lot of effort in terms of how you need to recover when you've gone through so much, dependent upon how acute the care you're experiencing from the hospital. So yeah, that's my take on. That's kind of just I wanted to preface that to give you some more information about my own overall experiences with bipolar disorder and how I've been able to, work on becoming more dynamic individual, transformative and helpful to really give people more inspiration. Because if I've been through so many different struggles like this and thus far, I'm only 26 and I can still tell you right now I'm sane and I'm able to like function at an optimal level. I have a speaking engagement this Saturday actually at the Blue Room in downtown Bellingham. So these are the types of things that I'm like managing, and I can totally be functionable just like you can. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Oh, exactly. Oh, exactly. Yeah. And the main thing is to me is once you figured out something's not right, go seek help. Go to your regular physician, and then y'all work out a plan. Okay. But I'm like you. This stigma, and again, you're talking when I was a kid. We used to think people go, see a psychiatrist crazy, and so you're talking 50 years ago, and it's still that way. That people just see the bad end of mental health instead
Hmm.
of looking what it could be, you know,
Yeah.
and having a, like I said, the best possible life that you can get from it, uh, if you seek the right recovery and success uh, outlets.
And you're committed to it.
We definitely got to stay. It's a long term commitment, long term battle. It's a battle with it to stay there. So
Yes.
yeah. So, but again, don't be ashamed if you have to. Don't worry what other people say. Again, surround yourself with the people that's going to want to see the you make the best life as possible, and they're going to help you succeed with that, and they don't care what's going on with you as long as everything's going the right way.
Yes. And choosing wellness in your life and finding innovative ways to, be happy because you can be happy when you have a mental illness or a mental health
Oh yeah,
condition.
amen. Yes, yes sir. So talked to one woman a couple of years ago podcasting, and she was one of them was after her children are born, the postpartum with the mental issues come from that, and she didn't want to stay. She wanted to commit suicide, but she said the reason she didn't want her children to have to live with that story of mom
Yeah.
leaving them from suicide. And I said, so essentially, your children saved your life by you thinking that way. And so, yeah. So, yeah, yeah.
I
Don't
think it's
feel
also
guilty. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel ashamed. We're all going to go through something one time or another, if not multiple times, and just seek the best professional help you can.
you made a really good point just now, James, about what that with that example. And the thought that comes to mind right now is purpose.
Yes.
Because when we have purpose in life, when for those of you that are struggling to find your own purpose and you might be struggling with a mental health condition or struggles out there with mental health, if you still have purpose in your life, that's going to help give you more of a guiding light to help pursuing your plan and giving you a sense of direction as you, because I'll tell you right now, like I did not think that I was going to be back here in Bellingham, Washington. I thought I was going to be in California a lot longer, but because of the trials and tribulations and circumstances that were unforeseen in my life, it forced me to get out of my shell and move back to Washington. Now I'm bringing this up because my purpose is something that's powerful and that fuels me and my success. And so I can tell you right now, I've moved from state to state and I'm still on, honing my craft as a professional speaker to be able to do talks on stage to folks about mental health. And so since that I'm using that as an example, because if you can see in my life how I'm trying to be an influencer and purposeful and living life purposefully, then so can you. That's my point.
That's right. Brandon Burbank. That's who we're speaking with mental health, mental toughness, and how to build a strategy to get better. Hey, coming to a stage near you. All right. Hey,
Yes.
Brandon, let's go ahead and this has been good. I enjoy talking like this. Gives me some mental therapy here with you today
Yes.
from going on. And so, hey, go ahead and give us some of your social media, your book, anything else you want to put out there, any courses or anything got going on, how people can get hold of you.
Yeah, my website is comeback2success.com. Comeback is all one word, the number two, and then success.com. My YouTube channel, just YouTube Brandon Burbank. And my book that I published in 2021 is titled Come Back to Success, Relentless Commitment for a Better Tomorrow. And that is on Amazon. And my Instagram is Brandon Burbank. You can just search that on Instagram, and it'll come up with Birdman Burbank as well. Um, and yeah, those are the biggest ways to how to hear more about my speeches and my speaking business.
And I'll put them links in the show notes to make it easier for people to click on and come find you.
That's
So,
great.
all right, Brandon. All right, this has been awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, there's people that's hurting and struggling today, and if you can leave us with a positive message to get through today, man, that'd be a blessing.
The positive message: continue to live life with purpose, because that is what's going to help give you more direction and more of a sense of reason to continue to stay focused.
All right, good. Brandon Burbank, I appreciate you being here today, man, and helping us with some mental issues, mental, I like to use mental toughness, and to help us get
Self
through.
fortitude.
There we go. And so for us to be able to grow and understand and be the better of what the best we could be. So
Yes.
appreciate
Thank
you
you
being
so
here,
much,
Brandon.
James.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And for everyone else, if you know someone that's having some little health issues, mental issues, be sure to share this with them. Let them meet up with Brandon. Go to his sites and say hello to him. Tell him you come from the Professor of Perseverance. So, hey, to everyone else, I'm Dr. James Purdue, the Professor of Perseverance. Do something today, tomorrow, something next week that's going to help you persevere past your paralysis.